Stem changing verbs, E to I. En este video vas a aprender la conjugación de verbos que cambian en la raíz de E a I. Son dos verbos que conocemos. Bueno, empezamos. First, connect with English. Remember, just like in the past two grammar videos, that there are no stem-changing verbs in the present tense in English. For example, I can say, I ask, you ask, he, she, it asks, we ask, you ask, and they ask. The infinitive to ask appears in every single one of the forms without any change. Ask, 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 ask. This one changes on the ending, not in the root. So that's how English is different from Spanish, because in Spanish there are stem-changing verbs. Recall from the lessons about the E to IE verbs and the O to UE stem-changing verbs that the stem change happens in all three classes of verbs, with AR, ER, and IR endings. Also remember that in E to IE and O to UE stem-changing verbs, the stem change happens in all forms of the verb except in the nosotros form and also the vosotros form. But again, for this conversation class, we don't really use that form at all. Here are some examples to remind you of how that pattern goes. Encuentro, encuentras, encuentra, encontramos, encuentran. This is an O to UE stem changing verb. You see the UE in each of the forms except the nosotros form, and it is an AR ending verb. There is an A ending in the forms. Puedo, puedes, puede, podemos, pueden. This is an O to UE stem changing verb that changes in the first, second, third person singular and the third person plural. It is also an ER ending verb. It ends with an E ending all the way across. And lastly, duermo, duermes, duerme, dormimos, duermen. This is also an O to UE stem changing verb. It changes in the first and second, third person singular and the third person plural. Does not change in the nosotros form, and we see that this is an IR verb ending. Now, for verbs that change from E to IE. Verbs that change from E to IE in the stem follow the same pattern as E to IE and O to UE verbs. The last E of the stem changes to I in all of the forms except the nosotros form and the vosotros form. One thing you may also note with E to I change verbs is that it will only occur with IR verbs. I have looked and I cannot find any verbs that change with an AR ending or an ER ending that change from E to I. So you will only be looking at IR verbs here. In this example, we're looking at the verb servir, to serve. The change happens in the first, second, third person singular, and the third person plural. There's your boot. Sirvo, sirves, sirve, servimos, servis, sirven. Sirvo, sirves, sirve, servimos, servis, sirven. The other verb that you know that has this stem change is pedir. Pedir means to ask for. And again, you can see that the last E in the stem before the ending changes to I in the first, second, third person singular, and the third person plural. There's the boot. It does not change in the nosotros or the vosotros forms. Pido, pides, pide, pedimos, pedis, piden. Pido, pides, pide, pedimos, pedis, piden. These are the only two verbs so far that you have learned with the E to I stem change. So this one is one you really want to hammer into your head since it's the only two that you really know anyway. Bueno, y esto es como conjugamos los verbos que cambian en la raíz desde la E a la letra I.